Hey guys, today we are talking about lesson 12.6, metric units of length. We had our break from doing these kinds of operations by doing line plots yesterday, and today we are going to be talking about the same kind of operations, but instead of customary units of measure, now we're switching over into metric. Metric is really nice because they're in values of 10, so our operations are going to go real nice and smooth. The units of measure for metric units of length that we're going to be using today will be meters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters. And again, we've got that real nice chart up there on the top right, right here to help us along with our operations to be able to convert from one unit of measure to another. So let's just go ahead and begin. Number one, these operations are going to look exactly the same as what we've done before. We are pulling out the amount that we have of our greater unit of measure, the larger of the two. And then we are going to multiply it by the amount of our smaller unit of measure that there is in one of that one. So let's look at this exact example right here. The amount that we have is 2. Our greater unit of measure is meters. We're converting to centimeters. So how many centimeters are in 1 meter? I'm looking over at this chart and I find that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So I'm doing 2 times 100 to figure out how many centimeters there are in 2 meters. 2 times 100. Remember, we have 2 zeros there. We're going to write our 2 zeros first, and then I'm pulling out my basic fact. 2 times 1 is 2. So my answer should be 200 centimeters. Okay, so let's skip on down to number 2 there. 3 centimeters is equivalent to how many millimeters? So centimeters is my larger unit of measure, so I'm going to take out the amount that I have of that one. I've got 3. I'm going to be multiplying it by however many millimeters there are in 1 centimeter. So I'm looking up here at my chart and I'm finding that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter right up there at the top. So I'm going to do 3 times 10. I have 1 0, and I'm pulling out my basic fact, 3 times 1, which is 3. And so there are 30 millimeters in 3 centimeters. All right, let's look over at number 3. On number 3 here, we've got 5 decimeters is equivalent to how many centimeters? So decimeters is my bigger unit of measure. I've got 5 of them. I'm doing 5 times however many centimeters there are in a decimeter. So I'm looking up here at my chart. I see that in 1 decimeter there are 10 centimeters. So I'm doing 5 times 10. I have 1 0. And 5 times 1 is my basic fact, so I've got a 5. So my answer is 50. Okay, so same operation we've been doing, just different units of measure. We've got our charts there to help us out. Numbers 4 through 7 we are going to be comparing. So we'll take our greater unit of measure, the larger one, and we are going to convert it into the same label, the same unit of measure, so that we can compare them a little bit more easily. 4 meters compared to 40 decimeters. So I'm going to look up here at my chart and see how many decimeters are there in 1 meter. So I found it right here. There are 10 decimeters in 1 meter. I'm going to take out my 4. I'm going to multiply it by 10 because there are 10 decimeters in 1 meter. 4 times 10 equals 40. So 40 decimeters is what to 40 decimeters? They are equal. All right, let's look at number 5. We've got 5 centimeters compared to 5 millimeters. Now, this is where your common sense can come into play. I see the same value right here, 5 and 5. Which of the two is bigger, 5 centimeters or 5 millimeters? Okay, centimeters are larger than millimeters because there has to be 10 millimeters to get to the size of 1 centimeter. So I should automatically see that and know that 5 centimeters is going to be larger. However, if it does not make sense to you immediately, if your common sense doesn't jump in on this one, you can still take your 5 centimeters and multiply it by 10 because there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter and get 50 and see that 50 millimeters is more than milliliters. So if it doesn't pop out to you as common sense, that's okay. You can still do the math and find the exact same answer. All right, let's look at number 6. We've got 6 decimeters compared to 65 centimeters. Okay, decimeters is our larger unit of measure. And we've got 1 decimeter is to 10 centimeters up there. So I'm going to take my amount that I have, 6. I'm going to multiply it by the amount of centimeters that there are in 1 decimeter. And 6 times 10 would give me 60. So I have 60 centimeters compared to 65 centimeters. And 65 is larger than 60. Okay, so let's look here. Number 7. 7 meters compared to 700 millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to look up here at my chart. I'm comparing meters to millimeters. And I see that right down here. 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. So I'm pulling out the amount of meters I have, 7, times 1,000, because there are 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. Okay, and I've got 3 zeros. And 7 times 1 is 7. So 7,000 is greater than 700. Now, here is where things get a little bit different. Okay, we've been using multiplication to go from a larger unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure. And now we are going to go from the smaller unit of measure to the larger. Okay, so we know that centimeters are smaller than meters. So here's what this is going to look like. We're going to write our answer as a fraction and as a decimal. I'm going to erase that last mark that I just made so it doesn't get in the way. So my first one I'm going to do is as a fraction. So I know I'm changing centimeters to meters. So to decide what my denominator will be, I'm going to look up here in my chart and I'm going to find how many centimeters there are in 1 meter. So I see right here that there are, that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. That was a very bad line. Now, 100 centimeters in 1 meter, that tells me that my denominator will be 100. Okay, however many there are in this 1 meter right there, the 100, that's where I got that from. Then the numerator will be the amount that we have right here. So 65 out of 100. Now we know from our previous lessons how to convert that to a decimal. This is 65 hundredths. So we would put our decimal. And the 5 should be in the hundredths place, and the 6 should be in the tenths. So 0.65, 65 hundredths. Okay, so this is going the opposite direction. So let's do this number 9 again. We're still doing centimeters to meters. So again, our denominator will be 100 because there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. But they've given us 47 centimeters, so it's 47 out of 100. Or if we wrote that in decimal format, I'm going to put a decimal here to hit it a few times to get that decimal to show up. All right. 47 hundredths is how you would read this fraction. So 47 hundredths, the 7 go in the hundredths spot, and the 4 goes in the tenths spot, so you have 47 hundredths. Now let's look at number 10 and 11. Number 10, we're going from decimeters to meters. So we're moving one spot up. There are 10 decimeters in 1 meter. So our denominator will be 10. That looks like a 70. 10. All right. So that's my denominator for both of them, for numbers 10 and 11, because I'm for both of them doing decimeters to meters. All right, but I've been given 9 decimeters, so that's my numerator, and here I've been given 2 decimeters. All right, and so now I'm going to just simply write those in decimal format. This fraction right here is written as 9/10. So I'm going to put my decimal value as my decimal and my 9 in the tenths spot. And so over here on number 11, this is read as 2/10. So I'm going to put my decimal down. and put my 2 in the 10th spot, and that is all there is to that. So, on your homework today, you will need to complete numbers 2 through 13. Numbers 10 and 11 will look like numbers 8 through 11 here that we had just done. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a good day.